all. I hope now I am audible. So just to introduce myself, my name is Yashendra Mishra, and I head North for a company called as Global Channel Resources. Now, if you see the name of the company, it starts with global. So definitely I'm not talking only about India right now. I'm talking about multiple countries we work with. And having said that, I have been a part of World Education Summit since yesterday, listening to almost every single speaker in terms of panel, be it be a presenter or be it be a speaker in terms of the panel or the panelist. And we have been talking about the technology mainly. Innovation in technology, the smartphones, the what you call, anything that we do inside the school. So I'm over here from Global Channel Resources, would be summarizing and clubbing it with what we call as IOT, which stands for Internet of Things, which we majorly do each and every day in every single day of every single minute of our life. And to move on, I'll give you the agenda of the presentation. Can we move the slides? Okay. Okay. So I'll quickly cover what is the role of IoT in education, then how we can actually help in terms of education as a sector. What are the expectations every single stakeholder of the education sector? What are the challenges? And then at last, I'll quickly cover a very small part, which is what do we have to offer, and then what we are actually. Moving on. So if we talk about the industry, today we are sitting at, in terms of size, if we talk about 2018 figures have said that IoT as a market has been $4.8 billion USD, and it is expected to grow almost 11.3 billion by 2013. So you can see there is a lot of scope in terms of the market, in terms of IoT, and that's what I think we have been discussing the last 2 days, because the schools are adopting the technology, right? Moving on, if you look at the growth by adoption of smart classroom, in terms of number of million units, it is expected to grow by 15%. These are statistics. Now, if you look at some of the initiatives given by Government of India, in 2019, February, there was something called as Operations Digital Board that was launched. And prior to that, in around 60, 70 years back, there was something called as Operation Blackboard that was launched. So today we are talking about Operation Digital Board, where the smart and the digital boards were being supposed to be implemented almost 8 to 9 lakh schools across between 9th and 12th grade. So this was a bit of the statistics. Moving on, if we talk about how we can actually help, I have a small video that will help you to understand.
Meet Adam. He is constantly worried about the safety of his child while traveling with school bus and inside the school. But with the Internet of Things, now he can get real-time location, pick up and drop alert, and route deviation alert, which makes him more aware. Even when the child reaches school premises, with the help of indoor sensors, he is updated all the time. As Adam is a busy parent, he often has no time to meet teachers and take an update on his child performance. But with the automation of the process, he gets the performance reports, updates and notes from teachers directly.
So where the students, right from the time he leaves the house, till the time he goes back to the house, everything and anything that you can think of that happens with the child can definitely be tracked.
Navigation and notice, premise safety and faster
process. Signage, in
this
terms of navigation, in terms of notices, in terms of events.
Now see how Bobby benefits from the Internet of Things. When Bobby comes inside the school premise, his attendance is marked automatically, and he is constantly monitored with smart sensors. With SOS button on tag he is wearing, he can call for help when in emergency or abuse. Help will be sent immediately. With digital signage, his attention is called to latest school events, navigation path, and important notice immediately.
Every single event you can think of
when he comes within the classroom, his knowledge grasping is improved with interactive display boards and numerous learning solutions such as coding and virtual learning. What's more, is when he comes back home, or missed a class, he has access to recorded lectures, video platform for the various content, e-library, and remote learning
All
solutions.
this is a part of
And
what you
with
call
the
inside the
submission of
school
assignments
IOT.
online, his time saved significantly. School authorities are also benefiting with what the Internet of Things has to offer them. With Campus Safety Solution now, they can track school bus, students and staff, while they are on premises. With Enterprise Resource Planning, the majority of the process are automated, saving time and resources. With digital signage, the information is easily disseminated. With online result, performance management becomes easy. With remote learning solutions, capacity use is enhanced and reach is widening. Overall, Internet of Things has improved the Institute's efficiency, status and fund management. And that's just beginning of how the Internet of Things enriching every aspect of education today. With every stakeholder satisfied, accelerating growth, and creating more opportunities.
So as you can see in this video, we have covered very quickly in just 2 minutes, few seconds, that what we actually are looking at. So right up to the time the student leaves from the house till the time he goes back. Now I'll give you a very recent example. I don't want to even take the name of the school, but yes, we have been in Delhi NCR very much concerned about the safety of the students, right? Now if a very short example, let's say there are places inside the schools where we do not have cameras, especially the washrooms, right? Now, if a child goes there, spends more than 10 minutes, do we have any technology which can tell you that a child is spending more than 10 minutes inside the washroom? Yes, we have, and that's where we play a role, where there is something called as a campus tracking, where if the child is even spending more than 10 minutes inside the washroom, the administrator or the responsible person will get an alarm that yes, you need to go and check what's wrong with the child. So that's a very small example. I don't want to go into the depth. Moving on, if I talk about how we can actually help. So let's look at the expectations. The first expectations, having said that, I being a parent or anybody inside this entire room, having said that a parent or a teacher or a student or any stakeholders of the school have major concern in terms of the safety of the children by the time he leaves house till the time he goes back. So that is one concern that every parent has. As a student, if I talk about, the major concern that I have is that whether I am getting the right set of teaching, which will help me in future. A very recent example is, will a dissection of a frog will help me in future, right? So that is one example which a student is nowadays looking forward. And as education authorities, which is all of you, definitely you have bigger concerns which I have been listening from the last 2 days in terms of your brand, in terms of the profitability, in terms of your own role. What are the roles and responsibilities you have, right? So I'm sure as stakeholders, you have lots and lots and lots of responsibilities that you take care of. And having said that, you have as teachers, you have pressure from the management. As management, you have pressure from the government. And as government, you have pressure from definitely the top stakeholders of the government. And you need to make policies, which we have been talking about NEP since yesterday, right? So there is a lot of pressure in terms of school authorities. But yes, I'm sure everybody who is owning a school or an educational institution looks for only one ultimate agenda. That yes, the student, once he is in their school, goes back satisfied and the parents are able to get what they're expecting out of the school. That's the major agenda that you are looking at. Moving on, what are the current challenges? If you look at the poor infrastructure, there are a lot many poor infrastructure issues. I will not go into the details. The major is that when we complete our school, we study everything in India and then we go abroad. So almost 3 lakh Indian students are going abroad annually. These are the numbers, facts and figures from different sources. If you look at other sources, almost 3.7 million students migrated within India due to lack of homeland. So on and so forth. If I look at outmoded education techniques, so almost 48% Indian employers, most of us might be sitting here as well as corporates, they are finding it difficult to find such students which meet their requirements. And the reason is multiple, right? Moving on, very important, safety and security. So we look forward for, there are many crimes which are increasing because of the use of so many other things, right? And then there are, last but not the least, the things we have been talking about since yesterday, again, the regulations part. So schools are concerned about the funding issues, the lack of innovation, there is a capacity utilization which is missing, and then public-private partnership is what we are talking about. Now, how GCR as an organization can help every single stakeholder of the school to make it much better. I'm not saying we are going to replace human out here. And the last session, I've been listening to all the dignitaries that they were discussing about replacement of chalk and talk method with the technology. I'm not saying I'm replacing it totally, because human touch is always required. That's what I also believe. But yes, if you talk about the safety, if you talk about what we are actually looking forward to impart our students, we have everything that you can think of, be it be a smart classroom, be it be a smart campus, be it be smart learning, or be it be smart process. In terms of classroom, yes, interactive display boards obviously would be used by teachers. We have interactive classroom computers, lecture recording and broadcast. Now this is, lecture recording and broadcast is something that is a tool to teacher. Why it is a tool to teacher? Because as teachers, we are bombarded with many things parallelly. So today, if I am taking an important class, what I can do is that I can go ahead and record my lecture, and I can use the same lecture in multiple classrooms. Obviously, your presence would be required, or a replacement teacher can also use it, right? So that's the benefit. And moving on to smart campus, extremely important. As I gave you an example of a student spending more than 10 minutes inside the classroom. So we have something in called as campus safety, security, school bus tracking, most common thing, mandatory by the government as well. Smart premise and automation. Visitor management, again very important, who is coming inside the school and who is going out of the school, from the staff, from the students, or any stakeholders. Library management, digital notice board and signage, a very pain area for, I think, almost every single school, be it be a big school or be it be a small school. If you have 10 notice boards, you have to ensure that every single communication goes on the notice board. You have to ensure that the notice board is being read. So you send a notice on a diary or a register to every single teacher, and it becomes a very tedious task, at least for a principal or an administrator, to actually go and communicate that to everybody inside the school. So digital notice board is something that you can always use. Sitting at a single room, sitting at a single point of contact, you can send an SMS to all your teachers, to all the stakeholders, and you can always update the notice board sitting at one place. So that is something as a digital notice board. Then campus infrastructure management, you can manage right from a small chalk box to a big furniture. You can always track every single thing inside the classroom or inside the school. When I say every single thing, that will actually reduce the cost of infrastructure, right? Moving on to smart learning, yes, video platform, collaborative platform, micro learning, IOT starter kit, game-based learning, virtual classroom, object block, coding learning, learning management system. I'm sure as teachers, you do it every day in some or the other form. I'm talking about from a perspective of IOT that will help you as a tool, right? And obviously smart process, which will include ERP, IT and non-IT asset management. Very critical if we talk about IT and non-IT asset management. If you talk about anything inside the classroom or in the school, it's hard to track it. Especially after the exams, where are the copies, right? If it's a physical test that has been conducted, where are the copies? So you can actually track copies as well. You can use a transparent tracking device, paste it on the copies, and you can use it, right? So that's where IoT plays a very important role. You can keep a track of each and everything, right? And moving on to AV conferencing, you can always have a combined class like I'm taking right now, right? Document management system, so you can always, again, this document management system becomes a very big problem. Let's say owner of the school issues a notice, it goes to a principal, then a principal sends it to a teacher sends it to a student. So it becomes a very long process. Maybe a day or two it takes for you to actually reach out to the students. With the help of document management system, everything can be done on a click of a button, right? You can actually upload the documents on your ERP, and it will automatically get approved at different levels. The teacher can approve it from her mobile. A student can get it approved from the parent on their mobiles. So everything is actually automated, right? Moving on. Now, I'll quickly talk about what we are. As an organization, we were founded in 2015. We have investments from a company called as Acton, Acer, Promise, Jaxel, GZR India. As I said, we are a global company, so we are headquartered at Taiwan. And in India, we are headquartered at Mumbai. We have almost 500 qualified system integrators, managed service partners, and ISPs across the nation. We are headquartered at Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia, Taiwan, and China, including India. And if I talk about the multiple geographies, we are almost 300 locations we are already working. So this was all from my side. I would request each one of you to think about, as we have been discussing from the last 2 days about the innovation in technology. IoT is definitely the combination of everything that you can see across. And in most of the cases, I would only say, we are using IoT in some or the other way inside the schools, but we don't realize we actually use it, right? Because the way we actually communicate, IoT might not be a very common word, but yes, we are using some or the other way inside the school. So allow us to reach out to you, and we can share everything in very detail. Thank you so much for your time.